Ella loved hiking the mountains that surrounded her village. From the highest peaks, she could see valleys stretching endlessly and clouds rolling like waves across the sky. But there was one peak no one spoke of, the Veiled Summit. "It's just an old story," her father had once said. "A castle hidden in the clouds, appearing only to those it chooses." Ella had always been curious, but no one in the village dared to approach the Veiled Summit. The few who tried claimed to see only dense fog and strange, echoing whispers. One crisp morning, as the sun broke over the mountains, Ella set off on her usual hike. But today, something felt different. The clouds above the Veiled Summit shimmered with a golden glow, almost as if calling to her. "I have to see it for myself," Ella said, gripping her pack tightly. The path was steep and overgrown, clearly unused for years. The higher she climbed, the thicker the fog became, muffling the sound of her footsteps. Finally, she reached a clearing, and her breath caught in her throat. Rising above the clouds was a magnificent castle, its towers shimmering in the sunlight. The walls glowed faintly, as though made of some otherworldly material. "It's real," Ella whispered, stepping closer. The castle gates stood open, inviting her in. As she crossed the threshold, the air grew colder, and a low hum filled her ears. Inside, the castle was eerily silent. The grand hall was empty, its floors covered in a thin layer of dust. At the far end stood a spiral staircase, winding upward into the highest tower. Ella hesitated, her heart pounding. Who built this place? She noticed a faint golden light emanating from the top of the staircase. Compelled by curiosity, she began to climb. At the top, she entered a circular room with windows that opened to the sky. In the center stood a pedestal, and on it rested a glowing orb. As Ella reached out to touch it, a voice echoed through the room. "Who dares disturb the castle of the clouds?" Ella spun around, her eyes widening as a tall figure emerged from the shadows. It was cloaked in silver, its face hidden beneath a hood. I didn't mean to disturb anything," Ella stammered. "I was curious." The figure stepped closer, its voice calm yet commanding. "The castle has been waiting for someone like you. Do you know why you are here?" Ella shook her head. "No, I just followed the light." The figure gestured to the orb. "This castle holds the power to control the balance between the skies and the earth. But the balance is fragile, and it has been disrupted. You were chosen to restore it." Ella stared at the orb, its golden light pulsing softly. "What do you mean by restore the balance?" The figure's hood tilted slightly, as if studying her. "The skies and the earth are connected. When one suffers, so does the other. This castle was built to maintain that harmony, but the connection is weakening." "How do I fix it?" Ella asked. The figure extended a hand, and a thin golden thread appeared, stretching from the orb to a large window overlooking the clouds. "You must reconnect the thread of balance," the figure said. "It binds the skies to the earth. Without it, the winds will rage, the clouds will darken, and the land below will wither." Ella hesitated. "But why me?" "Because you were chosen," the figure replied. "The thread will only respond to one with courage and a pure heart." Taking a deep breath, Ella stepped forward. As her fingers brushed the thread, a surge of warmth spread through her. The thread pulsed, and the castle trembled. "The balance is unstable," the figure warned. "You must follow the thread to its source and restore it before the connection is lost entirely." The thread began to unravel, leading out the window and into the sky. Without thinking, Ella climbed onto the windowsill. "You must trust the thread," the figure said. "It will guide you." Before she could question what that meant, the thread lifted her into the air, carrying her above the clouds. The skies were turbulent, the wind pulling at her as she clung to the glowing thread. Below, the earth seemed darker, its colors muted and lifeless. "This is what happens when the balance is broken," Ella thought, her determination growing. The thread led her to a massive storm cloud swirling with lightning and thunder. At its center was a jagged tear in the sky, pulsing with chaotic energy. Ella's grip tightened. That must be the source. As she approached, shadowy figures emerged from the storm, their forms shifting like smoke. "You do not belong here," one hissed, its voice like the wind. "I'm here to restore the balance," Ella said, her voice steady despite her fear. The shadows surrounded her, their dark tendrils reaching for the thread. "You cannot succeed," another growled. "The skies are ours now." Ella closed her eyes, focusing on the warmth of the thread. She could feel its energy pulsing in her hands, a connection to something greater than herself. "You're wrong," she said. "The skies and the earth belong to everyone." The thread glowed brighter, and the shadows recoiled, their forms dissolving into the wind. As the shadows disappeared, the storm calmed, and the tear in the sky began to shrink. But the thread in Ella's hands was fraying, its light flickering. "I need to act quickly," she thought, her heart racing. The thread led her to the edge of the tear, where a golden needle floated, suspended in midair. "This must be how I repair it," Ella said, grabbing the needle. With careful precision, she began to weave the thread through the tear, pulling the edges together. Each stitch sent a ripple of light across the sky, and the earth below began to regain its color. The castle appeared in the distance, its towers glowing as the balance restored itself. "You're almost there," Ella whispered, her hands steady. Finally, she tied the thread in a small knot, and the tear closed completely. The skies grew calm, the clouds soft and golden once more. Ella felt herself being lifted, the thread carrying her back to the castle. The figure awaited her in the circular room, its silver cloak shimmering. "You have done well," it said. "The balance is restored, thanks to your courage." Ella smiled, the orb's golden light reflecting in her eyes. "What happens now?" "The castle will remain here, watching over the balance," the figure said. "And so will you, if you choose to stay." Ella hesitated. She loved her village, but she also felt a deep connection to the castle and its purpose. "I'll stay," she said finally. The figure bowed. "Then you are now the keeper of the skies. May your heart always guide you." As the sun rose over the mountains, Ella stood at the highest tower, the castle glowing softly around her. She knew her life had changed forever, and she was ready for whatever came next.